Malaysian companies invited to explore new investments in Kazakhstan. Hello, good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darryl Baptist and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. We begin tonight's broadcast with some rather sad news. 2 policemen were killed and another was injured in an attack on the Ulu Tiram police station early this morning. The incident occurred at 2:45 a.m. and involved a masked intruder armed with pistols and a machete. The suspect had been shot dead at the scene. Following the incident, the police seized a Walter P99 pistol and a HK MP5 rifle from the suspect. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said the male suspect is believed to be a member of Jemaah Islamiyah. The police have also raided the house of the suspect, who was in his 30s, in Ulu Tiram and detained 5 of his family members, aged between 19 and 62.
Daripada siasatan ini, pihak kita dapati bahawa suspek yang telah mati ini memang membuat persediaan. Beg yang digunakan sebagai shield tu, diletak zinc, diletak paper, diletak kain untuk dia bertempur dengan pihak polis. So apa yang kita lihat bahawa mungkin beliau datang untuk mendapatkan senjata api daripada polis untuk dia punya agenda dia yang kita tak tahu lagi buat masa ini. Saya juga telah mengarahkan untuk pihak Cawangan Khas mendapatkan semua anggota JI yang ada di kawasan Johor untuk dikenal pasti dan diambil untuk siasatan kita.
It is estimated that there are more than 20 members of Jemaah Islamiyah in the state. The attack is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. Meantime, Tan Sri Razaruddin said patrols and surveillance will be increased around the Johor Palace and police stations following the attack. Commenting on the attack, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim wants firm action to be taken against anyone attempting to create chaos in Malaysia to the extent of causing deaths. The Prime Minister said he supports all efforts made by the police and asked the public to give their full cooperation to the authorities.
Dalam hal keamanan tidak boleh tolak unsur. Dalam keadaan bila negara sudah dihormati dunia dan pelaburan meningkat, ringgit dan kekuatan ekonomi kian baik, maka adalah sikap khianat dan benci yang ditanam di kalangan rakyat yang menyebabkan tindakan keganasan ini berlaku.
Meanwhile, His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia, expresses his condolences to the families of the 2 policemen killed in the attack. In a message on Facebook, Sultan Ibrahim also expressed sadness over the deaths of Constable Ahmad Azhar Fahmi Azhar and Constable Muhammad Shafiq Ahmad Said. We here at RTM would also like to express our deepest sympathies for all the families involved. Now on to our general updates. The empirical study of the separation of powers of the Attorney General, AG, and the Public Prosecutor is expected to be completed this year. According to the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, the study had been conducted in Canada earlier this month and was expected to continue in Australia in June before concluding in the United Kingdom with the cooperation of several universities.
Studi yang lebih mendalam tu di segi negeri-negeri komparatif dalam negara Malaysia tu mungkin tahun 2025 lah. Sebab janji kami kepada Parlimen 2 tahun lah untuk cuba mencari satu untuk mendapatkan laporan untuk diberi kepada mesyuarat Jemaah Menteri untuk membuat evaluation.
In August last year, Datuk Sri Azalina announced that the government would undertake a comprehensive empirical study within a year before finalising the proposal for the separation of powers between the AG and the public prosecutor. She said about 19 existing laws, as well as federal constitution, would need to be amended to implement the separation of powers. Still ahead in our business segment, Malaysia's economy on track to grow 4 to 5% this year. Kazakhstan has agreed to give opportunities to Malaysian companies to explore various fields in the Central Asian country, including mining and renewable energy. At the end of a two-day official visit to Kazakhstan today, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said Kazakhstan also wants to strengthen cooperation, including knowledge sharing, because Malaysia has expertise and skills in chip manufacturing.
Dan Kazakhstan merupakan satu negara penting di Asia Barat, Asia Tengah kerana kekuatan ekonomi yang berkembang pesat dan pelaburan yang menarik. Tapi mereka ingin supaya hubungan dengan Malaysia itu ditingkatkan. Dan Presiden malam tadi mengulangi kenyataan kesediaan beliau untuk memberikan ruang dan insentif istimewa kerana beliau merasakan hubungan dengan Malaysia itu harus ditingkatkan.
In addition, the Prime Minister said both countries also want to facilitate the trade and investment process to attract investors and the business community to explore new cooperation opportunities. Datuk Sri Anwar said the two countries are also very keen to work together in sectors of interest such as halal, Islamic banking and agriculture. Regarding the Kazakhstan-Malaysia Roundtable Investment meeting today, Datuk Sri Anwar said 4 memorandums of understanding, or MOUs, were signed at the session, which is expected to generate exports of 1.6 billion ringgit.
Lawatan kita ke Asia Tengah, ketiga negara ini, lebih untuk melihat dan mencari upaya supaya dapat ditingkatkan ekonomi Malaysia. Umpamanya ya, dari segi pelombongan, sini ada kekuatan yang luar biasa dan dia sedia bagi ruang kepada syarikat Malaysia untuk menyertai industri tersebut. Sama dengan dari segi tenaga, kerana kita fokus juga peralihan tenaga. Dari segi transformasi digital dan microchips, dia memang bergantung kepada pengalaman dan kemahiran Malaysia.
The MOUs signed today were between the Institute for Strategic and International Studies and the Kazakhstan Institute for Strategic Studies, as well as between the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia and the National Chamber of Commerce of Kazakhstan. Also signing an MOU were Hyrax Oil Sendirian Berhad and the Elysium Electric Company Group, and between Berkat OSH Services Sendirian Berhad and APEC Training Centre LLP. On another matter, Datuk Sri Anwar stressed that claims that 25% of the remaining shares of Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad, or MAHB, would be owned by a pro-Zionist company are baseless. The Prime Minister said the allegations raised by the opposition were merely aimed at inciting hatred among the people towards the government.
Tidak ada yang positif, kerjanya menghasut, penuh dengan kebencian dan dengki. Itu saja. Kalau maknanya segala kenyataan kita yang tegas yang diakui oleh dunia dalam soal Gaza, pertemuan kita dengan pimpinan Hamas yang menjadi masalah kepada banyak negara lain, itu dia tidak memberikan satu yang kenyataan yang positif. Jadi dia hanya cari ialah fitnah dan dengan hasutan dengki.
Meanwhile, Transport Minister Anthony Locke said the proposed privatisation of MAHB will boost the company's efficiency through swift strategic decision-making and facilitate its way forward. He said the ministry supports Khazanah Nasional Berhad's proposal to restructure MAHB.
Itu adalah keputusan daripada Khazanah. Okay, dia tidak, bukannya keputusan Kementerian Pengangkutan. Kementerian Pengangkutan is just a regulator. MAHB major shareholder of course is Khazanah. Mereka telah mengambil keputusan untuk take MHB private from the share market. Sudah tentu bagi Kementerian Pengangkutan, kita serari dan seiring dengan tindakan dan juga keputusan daripada Khazanah. Jadi apabila dia dibawa sebagai satu private entity di bawah sepenuhnya oleh Khazanah dan EPF sebagai aset strategik kerajaan dan negara, maka saya yakin bahawa pelbagai keputusan strategik dapat dilaksanakan dengan lebih cepat.
Lok said this when asked about MAHB's proposed restructuring measures and allegations that Khazanah is selling the company off to foreign entities. In response to the allegation, Lok asserted that the assertion was unfounded.
This exercise does not mean that Khazanah is selling MHB stake. In fact, Khazanah and EPF is increasing the stake in MHB.
And now it's time for my favorite segment of our bulletin, On the Table. Our subject tonight is one that's enterprising not just for our economy, but also for Mother Earth. I leave it to Otto and our welcome guests to illuminate you further. Otto, all yours.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, carbon capture and utilization and also storage, CCUS, is a key part of Malaysia's energy transition strategy and its aim to become a regional CCUS hub. Now, Malaysia has set an ambitious target to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 as part of the 12th Malaysia Plan. Now, to meet this target, the country has pledged to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by up to 45% by 2030 in accordance with the Paris Agreement. Now, CCUS technology has the potential to actually create business opportunities in Malaysia, including the renewable energy market, energy efficiency and carbon credit trading. Now, it is also expected to generate sufficient positive economic development impacts, such as higher gross domestic product, GDP, and job creation. Now, with us in the studio today, we have a Director of Environment and Natural Resources Division, Ministry of Economy, Dr. Nur Anida Zainal, to further discuss on CCUS. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Now, you have been a doctor in urban and regional planning for quite some time now, and you've just recently got this position, so congratulations to you on your promotion.
Thank you.
Now, without further ado, we want to discuss on certain issues, particularly with CCUS. Now, can you tell us, right, when it comes to this, let us start with CCUS. Can you explain with us what is CCUS and why it is a critical component of Malaysia's green economy?
Okay. Thank you very much, Otto. I would like to take this opportunity for this invitation for us to, for Ministry of Economy, to share about CCUS. So CCUS is basically stands for carbon capture, utilization and storage. It is actually a technology that actually change or maybe capture carbon dioxide emissions from basically from industrial processes, and we then transport it to either it can be used either for other value-added goods and also or perhaps being stored permanently in our geological site. So just in short, it's actually, it is not, I mean, in terms of utilization, it's not something new, because in petroleum operation, basically, it has been used since 1970s, where CO2 is being injected at the reservoir for enhanced operation or recovery, and other than that, it also being used for like carbonated drinks, higher extinguisher, and perhaps for fertilizers. So the utilization of CO2 is not something new. It has been with us, I mean, for
many decades.
Many decades, in fact. The thing is, we need to, okay, if let's say for industries, we have certain targets, as you mentioned just now. We have a very ambitious target for our net zero as early as 2050. So we need to be more creative, or maybe perhaps CCUS can be used to enable Malaysia's hard-to-abate industries, particularly like cement and steel industry, to reduce their emissions, the substantial emissions that they may not be able to reduce, and then it be stored permanently in our subbed. So basically, other than that, we are looking at CCUS as a new new source of economic growth, as well as for us to achieve our net zero ambition.
Now, for those of you who are listening or tuning into us right now, to give you a broad example of what carbon capture means. There was an innovation I think in Germany recently. Could you say that this particular device is actually made out of liquid and it actually captures carbon dioxide from the environment, especially monoxide as well? And is it commercialized here in Malaysia? Can we expect some kind of commercial, industrial development that we can see, or a device that we can see in the streets in Malaysia? Is there any
All right. CCUS usually, in terms of capturing of carbon dioxide, is very nascent in Malaysia at the moment. We know that some pilot projects, or maybe some activities has been done. Petronas is working towards, capturing, identifying the type of technology. We know that, and some of the perhaps maybe universities that you would like to venture into, getting to know, with all this technology on how to capture. But at the moment, there is not much innovation has been done, and also on technology has not been done yet for the capturing. But we are working towards that for us to actually capture, because it's a very expensive technology. It's a very, very expensive technology. Even if you want to have a pilot to have to capture CO2, it is going to require a huge amount of investment. So at the moment, I must say that not much. In Malaysia has been done. There are a lot of technologies in the Europe, and also perhaps some developed countries like US, Norway. Perhaps they have this technology, but we are actually trying to some sort like collaborate with these developed countries for us to have our very own.
So you're saying that there is a possibility that we as Malaysians have the opportunity to get these devices here in Malaysia and probably expand it even more to help out our CO2 emissions, right? Aside from that, what are Malaysia's advantages when it comes to CCUS rollout?
Okay. Apart from that was mentioned earlier, that we can reduce our GHG emissions. We can, for us to achieve our net zero, but as early as 2050. Other than that, it can actually bring in a lot of investment. Some study, there was a study saying that the opportunity can accumulate up to USD 200 billion, and also it can also create a lot of job opportunities, technology transfer, knowledge transfer from other countries as well. And other than that, basically, I just would like to mention that under the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR, which was launched July 2023 last year, and also under NIMP, I think New Industrial Master Plan 2030. CCUS was actually mentioned in those two documents. So the policy direction is to have CCUS in place as a lever, to catalyze for energy transition initiatives that open economic opportunities for Malaysia. And of course, is to reduce carbon footprints sustainably. So that is actually why I think it is critical at this moment for us to embark on this journey to have CCUS in Malaysia.
Now, is there any current projects here in Malaysia now?
Okay. So we are actually collaborating with Petronas. It has been identified, even in NETR, the new energy transition roadmap. There we have identified 3 hubs, one in Bintulu, one in Kuantan, and the other one will be in Kerteh, Kemaman. And basically, we have identified the hubs for us to have this permanently storing, the permanent storage of CO2. And it's actually, what we need now is actually maybe perhaps the direction that we are looking at, to have a cluster-based approach for us to actually, gather all the CO2 before it's been transmitted to the storage hub for permanently. So by 2030, we are expecting our first injection perhaps in 2028, and it can accumulate for the 3 hubs. It can accumulate up to 15,000 million MTPA, million metric tons per annum. Okay. So by 2040, we aim, we envisage that it can be accumulated up to 40 to 80 MTPA.
Now, you said there's 3 hubs, Bintulu, Kerteh, and also Kuantan. Now, how much does it actually cost to actually establish that hubs?
I don't have the figure at the moment, but I know that it is a huge investment, and Petronas is actually working with other industrial players, perhaps some other investors, to look into it for the infrastructure. But basically, other than storage, we have also to, it's actually a huge opportunity for us together. Like, for instance, we know that in the region, we are blessed. Malaysia is blessed that we have a huge capacity to store, because of that I mentioned. By 2030, it can accumulate up to 15,000 MTPA, whereas in our region, like Singapore, perhaps in Korea, Japan, they might have, like, not for Singapore. Singapore, they don't have storage capacity to store CO2. But for Korea and also Japan, they might not have enough capacity. And that's why we have this, I think Petronas is working with them for us, for us to have those investments coming to Malaysia.
Yeah, so that means we still have a long way to go.
Yeah.
But for the first step, we already have hubs here in Malaysia. Yeah. It's just the initial stages of getting the devices, ensuring that the procedures are right and correct. And that also involves those with expertise, like from overseas, to actually come here in Malaysia and provide us this information and progress towards devices, or probably industrialize certain storage devices and all that.
Yeah.
Now, great insight on that. Can you address with us any concerns regarding the safety and long-term sustainability of underground CO2 storage in Malaysia?
Okay, yeah. It has been told around that perhaps, having CCUS might not be safe for us, but I just would like to reiterate my statement earlier that this activity of injecting CO2 in our in petroleum operation has been done since 1970s. So nothing wrong has happened so far, Alhamdulillah. And it is in terms of what do you call this? It has been there for a while, and it has never been reported for any leakage or anything like that, and nothing that can actually harm the people, or maybe the country. In fact, the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, IPCC, in their 6th assessment working group 3, reported that the geological sequestration is reliable, and with overall leakage rates of less than 0.01%.
Wow.
So yeah, I think it's quite safe. And there's also a testament. Remember this earthquake that happened that actually we've seen in Tomokamai CCS hub in a plant in Japan. With a 6.7 Richter scale scale. I mean, nothing. There was the experts report that there was no CO2 leakage. I mean, because of that, there's no leakage, at all. So I think we can be assured that this SSUS activity or technology is quite safe for us to embark on. And some people might I mean, it basically, I think, if we have to look at from a different perspective, it's not about, apart from,
the dangers of keeping the storage, all right.
We have to bring in the perspective of, getting more investment is a new source of growth. Like, I mean, we can't really rely on, since we need to transition away from fossil fuel. I mean, this is actually an opportunity for us to embark on something new. To actually contribute to our GDP
and economy. Now, since that we don't have much time anymore, we'd just like to ask you one more time, anything that you'd like to mention with regards to CCUS before we end today's interview?
So basically, the government has recognized that CCUS is a new strategy for green and low carbon growth in the country, and also it offers attractive incentives for investors. We need to bring in investment and for us to develop further and for us to have more opportunities, like for instance for job employment, high and advanced technology. And I think we certainly hope that with the we are currently looking at the legislation part. I mean, maybe perhaps you have heard yesterday our minister mentioned that we need to have the legislation in place, and inshallah, God's willing, by the end of the year we should have an act on its own, hopefully. And of course, with the right technology and also the right talent, we can make it happen. So everything is in place. Hopefully we can make it happen. Thank you.
Now, I'm afraid that that's all the time that we have for today. And thank you so much for Dr. Noor for coming to the studio. I really appreciate it for your insights and also clarity. Now, just to recap just a bit, all right, so CCUS has been used since 1970.
Yeah.
And it's safe to be used. And we already have 3 hubs here in Malaysia. And all we need now is just the innovation and creativity of other people to combine with Malaysia to create these devices to help us go even further with CCUS. Now, that wraps up on Table 4 tonight. And back to you, Daryl.
Thank you, Otto. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did, because that's all the time that we have left for you tonight. Together with Otto Othman, my name is Daryl Baptist. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. You guys don't just have a good weekend, have a memorable one. Thanks for watching. Good night.